Hey Carol, hey Marty. So I just wanted to go through like if it's a no preference, and I just changed this real quick. I haven't gone through all of your lists to see if that's exactly the wording you want. We just kept referring to it as that in the emails. So if they wanted, okay, so if she did no preference, then yes, she would just go ahead and um, add it to the cart and fill out the form, and then what happens, and I just kind of wanted to show you because I think it'll like make more sense. Like these were already in my cart, so you can see I have. So technically, like, in this instance, if someone were to do this, here's what would happen. So I guess this is a good example because it's not something I can really control because of the way we only want the bride to fill out that form one time. It makes it a little more challenging to find a mechanism that already exists that will kind of collect all the names and then send out the emails at the end after the form is filled out. So in this instance, like the bride chose, Carol and Marty and is it Baron? I don't even know. So, and then no preference. So what this means is the three of you would get two emails because this is, technically it's a product, you know. So what happens is, and what I will do for each and every item or each and every person plus these category ones, I will set up what's called an advanced notification, and this is what it looks like. Like here's Marty's. So, um, for example, if you did decide to do like you're talking about in this, the the wedding concierge, which is an awesome idea, and Marty has a wedding concierge that he works with, then what I would do is for every person who sends in a request for Marty, not that you would do it in this census, but that's just an example. So to show that I can have multiple email addresses in here. So I just put a comma and then another email address, and both people or 10 people or 20 people would receive the same email. So, and there's the same form submittal information. So, but in this case, like when I set up the one for the no preference, it'll say, recipient name, we'll just put, oh, whatever makes sense, the not tires, um, I don't know, no preference submitted or something, something that makes sense so the guys know that isn't someone who picked me directly, but it's someone who basically didn't know who they'd like to select and they just want everyone who's available to contact them. And so then all of the email addresses would go in this field. So all, um, now I can't remember how many, 20 or whatever it is. So these fields we don't use. It's just additional information that I could store about like Marty or whoever if I wanted to, but I don't have any use for that. So we don't do that. Here, down here is where it tells, see how if of course some of these don't make sense, right? Because we're dealing with people, not actual products. So we're not going to have anybody be out of stock or back ordered. So it's kind of a funny concept, but anyway, but we're basically selling people, so I guess that's strange too. But hey, I'm changing all the wording. We'll make it work. So for every purchase, which means they filled out the form, they completed the cart, they checked out. And of course, I put every product, which is a person. Please stay with me here. I know it's a stretch, but they're under a category, so that's how I can, basically uh, create these the way they are. So basically, so every purchase, whenever the bride completes the checkout process, fills out that form, hits send, then everybody gets their email, and so then it sounds like that's where we need, so that's how each of those category ones work. So they complete, so if this just had, no preference in there, and I'm sorry if I'm being redundant, but sometimes I feel like I don't explain myself well. I use a lot of words though, so that counts for something, right? So then she goes and she fills out all of this information and hits send. So then all 20 or 30 emails are sent out to whatever email addresses I have in that field. So is there a potential for error? Yes, but if I miss somebody's email address or it's not spelled correctly or anything like that. So when we go through a testing phase, what I'll have to do is send out email to everybody maybe, or you can, Marty, Carol, somebody. Whenever I do testing, give them a heads up that when I'm testing this particular option or any of the category options, that I am doing testing. And after I've done the testing, I'll send you guys an email, you two, and say, please check with the guys to see if everybody received, email with, should be this person's name or that person's name or whatever my test data is. I'll let you know the parameters. Everybody can check and make sure they receive the emails. And then that way we know we got everybody and no one's being left out. That's the only way I could think to do this at the moment. But Carol, you asked the question and it is a very good question. And I don't have an answer without looking into. Okay, let's find the question. Where is it? Right here. The one, number 5, about whether or not can we show whether an officiant is available. We can, and that was originally part of the specs, but I know when Marty and I were talking, you guys felt like that putting on there that somebody's availability or that they already had a wedding scheduled might potentially be a negative thing because, as you were saying, Marty, the guys can maybe handle 2 weddings in a day because they're close, near each other, and you wanted the guys to be the ones to decide whether or not they accepted the wedding or took the wedding on or not. So, yes, I would have to look into, and it's very doable, and it might even alleviate some of these other problems everyone being created as a product per se. It would be a paid plugin more than likely, but for example, I've seen systems out there, plugins out there that can handle like hairdressers or what's something else that's time based, multiple sessions in a day. Um, I want to say teacher, maybe I saw a teacher one, but I don't think so. I think the biggest one that I've seen out there that's available, and I'm not, coding from scratch and reinventing the wheel, that we could take and change the wording like I'm doing now, that would work with a scheduling type of system, would be something for hairstylists. And it has, where you can tell the system how many hours to block off for an event. They can pay through that system as well. Each stylist has, again, we're going to be changing wording here because nothing has been done for the officiant or wedding business. So this would be great if we could get this to work. We could probably market it to other organizations who have multiple officiants. But so I don't know if you're following me or not, or if I'm answering your question. So yes, and those types of systems have calendars that show the person, the user that came to the site, when someone is available and when they're busy. Um, what I don't know is, would it allow the user to go ahead and submit a request for a time slot that was already busy? I'm thinking no. It's if someone's already confirmed and accepted an appointment at a specific day and time. Now it doesn't take off the whole day. It can be a block of hours in a day. Then the user would have to pick, another block of time, or like you said, they could just contact the officiant either, email or phone or however, directly, and just talk to him and see what his availability is first. Um, I don't know. Is that something you want me to look back into? I did find several of those options when I was initially looking. Um, it it might be, I mean, it would definitely be better than losing the business or having the bride just sitting out there without a response. Because as it is right now, because of the way I'm having to do this, there's nothing that tells, there's nothing the system has available to it to tell it that a request came in for an event or for a wedding, but it was never answered. Jeez, I just realized that. That's not good. I think we probably ought to look into that. I think I need to look into that again and give you options. Hmm. Sorry for this weird and long video. Um, I'm talking it out as I'm not really talking to you, but I'm talking to you. Um, so yes, I think we need to look into that only because I think in the long run, to get you more hands off, it's going to be needed because we need some kind of alert to tell us when a request came in, but it was never responded to. Okay. I'll look into that and get you some options. But if you absolutely don't want to look into it and you're absolutely no, I don't want a calendar to show, I don't want anyone to see their availability, then please let me know that. Otherwise, I will be kind of using up some time there to do that. But I really think it's going to be necessary. So, anyway, I'll stop babbling about that. Let me see if there's anything else real quick. Now, I know you said you wanted a pop-up to show these three options. If that is necessary, I will do that. Another option might be something to think about so that you're not dealing with pop-ups because so many the pop-ups don't work well on mobile at all. They get lost because you have to set them at a specific size. So many times they don't resize basically to fit your screen. Um, the best. I mean, they can be made to do that, but it's hard to control the layout and the look of them that way. But another thought then would be to do, I could block them out. Okay, so see how right now they're showing at the bottom. That's just the way I have them sorted. I can have them at the top, or I could, instead of, you know how we have the banded information on the home page? Let me do this right here. What I could do is at the top, you know how we have the maybe on a red background or a gray background or a black background, instead of them just being in line with all of these others, with everybody else's picture, what I could do is either at the top or the bottom, I could, create a color block band and we could even add some wording above it. If you don't know specifically who you'd like, then please choose one of these categories and the appropriate officiant or the knot tire will contact you. So we could do that where these are pulled out of here and just put on a color band with some wording. And in fact, we could put wording above the right here on the officiant as well as with the wording that you mentioned that you needed about about them, whoever is available will contact them. Instead of putting it in a pop-up, I kind of been trying to steer away from pop-ups because spam blockers and those kind of things will keep it from opening, and then you're adding kind of confusion to it. So if we can do it without popping up, that's what I'd advise. But if you really like it, that type of interaction, then definitely can do that. So I guess let me know on that as well. And there was probably something else, but I feel like this video has gone way too long already because I'm rambling because it's the end of the day and guess I'm getting tired. So anyway, y'all have a great night and just get to me when you can and we'll just keep moving forward. So I'll research the calendar options unless you tell me specifically not to. All right, thanks.